Today on Kababayan LA, meet an accomplished Kababayan that works for The Simpsons. And you know what? He is willing to draw your caricature. You're all invited to a big party on Saturday. We've been talking about that and we have more details for you this afternoon on the show. Magandang hapon mga kababayan. Ako po si Janelle So, ang inyong kababayan dito sa Los Angeles kung saan, nako, medyo nakakainit ng ulo at nakakaalarma ang mga balita. But before we react, alamin po muna natin ang mga detalye mula sa balita.
Pinoy na Pinoy, Weekend Balita.
All right, Ronnie Ligo, Editor-in-Chief of Midweek and Weekend Balita, joining us from their Glendale newsroom. Ronnie, nakakainis ang balitang ito. It's about Cal State. We've been talking about the budget or the lack of funding. Tuition fees continues to soar. The latest news is mag-freeze ng enrollment. There's a plan. But then at the same time, they okayed a salary hike for two of their presidents.
Yun na nga, Janelle, last year, yung mga 23 Cal States na nabanggit mo, their funding was reduced by $750 million. And they are facing another $200 million cut pagka hindi na-aprobahan yung kay Governor Jerry Brown na kung tawagin ni Education Tax Initiative na kung saan he is going to raise 0.7% for those earning $200,000 and 1.7% taxes ito, bagong taxes for those earning $500,000 and more. Ngayon, ang problema ngayon, nabanggit mo nga, there is a plan to to freeze enrollment by next year, spring. So walang mga bagong estudyante yung makakapasok sa ating mga Cal State.
But in the meantime, Ronnie, and this is itong nakakaalarma dito, in the meantime, the trustees approved a base salary of $303,660 for CSU East Bay President Leroy Morishita and $324,500 for CSU Fullerton President Mildred Garcia. Kasama pa dito ang $12,000 car allowances and $60,000 housing allowances for each. I mean, they have a difficult job, but then at the same time, we look at the students that are struggling to pay their tuition. Tapos ang pera napupunta sa ganitong mga, I think it's a little inflated and it's a little insensitive to do the salary hikes right now.
That's true, kaya kung saan makikita mo, like every semester na lang may nakikita yung mga rally ng mga estudyante kasi nga sila mismo nakaka-feel nitong mga pagtaas ng tuition fee at there was recently 8% na tumaas ang tuition fee ng mga estudyante, an average of $5,200 or more ang mga binabayaran nila to as much as $25,000 ang babayaran ng mga estudyante if you're going to include the board and lodging at doon pang mga expenses nila. At ito nga, nabanggit mo, nag-raise sila ng mga salaries ng mga presidente ng at least two of these Cal States, yun na nga, ang issue ngayon is magkakaroon ba tayo ng taxes na kung saan marami na nga sa ating mga parents na hirap na nga at alam naman natin unemployment dito sa buong California ay talaga naman napakataas. At ito pa ngayon, ang ating mga kabataan, ang ating mga anak ay makakapasok ba next year kung talaga magkakaroon ng freeze in enrollment.
All right, very vulnerable the students right now, but another problem aside from that is healthcare. So there's a Supreme Court decision on Affordable Care Act that will have a major healthcare consequences for racial and ethnic minorities. Ronnie, what does this mean?
Oo, nagkaroon kasi ng study na ginawa ng Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights group. Ito ay tinitingnan nila kung sino ba ang nakaka-avail ng healthcare as far as we are concerned. Lahat tayo dito sa Amerika. Apparently, most of the ethnic groups, katulad nating mga Asians, yung mga Hispanics, and African Americans, these are the more marginalized sectors dito sa ating bayan na kung saan not only some of them or most of them forgo healthcare, sila pa ang hindi nakakakuha kasi nga may mga reasons like unemployed yung mga karamihan nito, marami silang hindi kaya nilang maka-afford ng ganitong mga healthcare services. So kumpara sa ating mga yung tinatawag na mga white Americans, mas marami ang hindi nakaka-avail ng health services because of the cost.
And that is alarming, quite sad as well, because it says here in your notes, Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders account for more than 50% of all hepatitis B cases in the US. Alam naman natin, yung mga sakit nating mga Pilipino din, heart attack, heart diseases, high cholesterol, and all these conditions need medical attention.
Correct, ano? At sana nga, kung alam naman natin na magkakaroon ng decision yan, ano? The United States Supreme Court will soon decide if it's going to make the tinatawag na nila, no, kinikritis nila, Obamacare unconstitutional or part of it, na kung saan malalaman natin kung tayong mga marginalized na nabanggit natin ay makaka-afford ng healthcare or talagang tuluyan ng hindi maka-afford kung talagang mangyayari yung mga gusto ng mga ibang kongresista na kung saan tatanggalin yung buong Obamacare na yan.
All right. And finally, Ronnie, speaking of decision, is Manny Pacquiao basing his decision on retirement? Is he basing that on a dream that he had where God supposedly told him to retire?
Oo nga, no? Yan ang headline namin to midweek edition namin. Sabi niya, God told me to retire, ano? Mukha nga nagpaparanig na, nagpaparamdam na si Manny Pacquiao, ang ating pambansang kamao, na gusto na niya mag-retire. Although hindi talaga ni-reveal kung anong eksaktong date, kung kailan siya mag-retire. Alam naman natin, may laban siya sa June 9, ano, sa Las Vegas against Timothy Bradley. No? Malalaman natin kung talagang hindi matutuloy na ang tinatawag nating dream match between him and Floyd Mayweather Jr. At ito na nga, mukhang sinasabi ni Manny Pacquiao, alam naman natin, simula ng January, nagkaroon na yata siya ng enlightenment, ano? Nagiging religious na siya na ngayon, pati yung mga vices niya, nawala na yan. At sinasabi nga niya, he must retire. Sabi raw ng Panginoon sa kanya, enough. Itong ginagawa mong pagboboxing ay very harmful sa iyong physical condition. So, tama na ang pagboboxing, mukhang mag-retire na ang ating pambansang kamao.
But he said that he will not retire from public because now the Reformed Christian is saying that God wants him to use his fame to spread the Christian message. Ronnie, you know this, when we interviewed him last time he was here for the press conference of the Timothy Bradley fight, talagang kabisado niya mga Bible verses, and actually a lot of the other journalists who were interviewing him there said that it felt more like a homily or a sermon or a pastor na nagsasalita daw rather than an interview or a press conference.
Oo, at gagamitin niya yung popularity niya, no? Kasi nga sabi niya, pag siya ay nagsasalita, lahat nakikinig, kabilang din tayo mga journalists.
At pag si Ronnie naman po ang nagsasalita, lahat nagbabasa. Kaya po, don't forget to pick up your copy of Midweek and Weekend Balita. Also, Ronnie, ang inyong bagong broadsheet.
Opo, no? US Asian Post. And of course, you can always visit our website, www.balita.com. And I hope you guys enjoy your afternoon with Kababayan LA.
Thank you so much, Ronnie, and more power to you and to the rest of the Balita family. Meanwhile, back here in studio for Kababayan LA, I mentioned earlier, get ready to meet another Kababayan Pride that works at Simpsons. Very popular po yung cartoon, and he's a cartoonist, and you can get your caricature drawn by him as well. Don't go away.